everybody, welcome back to episode 136 on this Saturday night. We are on the deck
Again.
Deck chat.
Yeah.
We're just checking in and seeing how you guys were doing. We haven't posted in a week, so this is kind of going to be our new format, we think, and we'll stick to it, is posting on Saturdays. And then throughout the week, you'll see little snippets of our week.
Can we get an endorsement deal for the grill? I just noticed looking over my
We're
shoulder.
going to have to definitely be sponsored by them. So,
yeah,
the professional char grills. If you would like to send us any, like...
Money?
yeah, we just need money. Yeah, just send us money. We don't need products.
Cut to the chase.
We'll grill as much as you want.
Yeah, right. Right. Well, right, and we don't know. You said the new format, but I don't know if we know really what that's going to look like.
We don't know.
But we'll post a longer one once a week. How about that?
How about that?
And then maybe, because I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how ambitious you want to be.
Yeah.
But also, we thought about maybe recording some things during the week and then putting it together in a larger thing. So we'll just have to see how it goes. It's a work in progress.
So the first thing I want to talk about this week, I already thought about it.
Wow, you got an agenda.
is we're getting back into our well-being journey.
See, I don't like it when you say that because no one had to know that we weren't into it.
That's true. That's
so
true.
So we may have to record over this.
Yeah, just forget what I just said.
I mean, anyway.
But anyway, we started walking again, which we enjoy, and obviously living out here where there's it's less congested and busy. The sidewalks are nicer, and there's not any there's just not a lot of traffic and people and stuff like that. And there's a trail by us, so we've been walking on that.
Was it a good idea to record when the cicadas were out?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did too. Because we haven't had them.
We have not.
Most of the summer till now.
But we had so much fun. So on I think we started walking together on Wednesday.
Yeah, we did other things Monday and Tuesday, but we actually started Monday.
We did start on Monday.
So that actually was pretty good. Yeah,
and then so we both had gone like the same kind of route to this path, except we had never gone further than we did, kind of thing. So we just wanted to explore and see what was out there, kind of thing. And so the first day it's like 5 minutes from our house is where the trail starts, wouldn't you say? It's like a 5 minute walk.
It's about, I don't know, I'm not sure, it's about 4/10 of a mile. So I don't know how fast we're walking.
All right, so not very far from our house. True. So anyway, so we turned left, or to go whatever direction that is, I don't know.
We did go, well, yeah, I don't know either, because the street between here and there isn't straight.
It's all of the streets are windy here, so there's nothing that's straight.
Right. We're facing west, I know.
Yes.
But we went out the door and kind of went around that way and that way.
Yeah. So who knows what direction?
We'll have to check the compass next time.
We will. So we just started walking.
It was left from, we were going in this direction, we turned left.
So it's gravel path, so it's not just like cement, which is nice. And then lots of different kinds of foliage and different kinds of plants and flowers and stuff like that. Probably most of them are weeds, but I think they're really pretty.
A lot of thistles.
A lot of thistles.
We're not even in Scotland.
Lots of thistles.
It's the national flower of Scotland.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Thistle.
Is it really?
Yes, absolutely.
It's not really like a fun flower to be like, it's like kind of not very pretty.
I don't know about that, but don't insult our Scottish people.
That's true. So it kind of went into like a little windy area, and then there ended up being a golf course on one side, which is fine. So we walked across that path, and then all of a sudden there's like a bridge. Like there's this beautiful bridge. We posted a picture of it this week, and on either side of that is like a marsh. So
it's like wetlands.
It is.
It's wetlands. And Claire said she saw. She didn't walk with us, but she said she saw a heron out there a couple of times.
Yes. So I hope we get a heron sighting too.
I've seen them flying overhead, but I haven't seen them on the ground.
So it was quite nice just to kind of like figure out like where it goes and things like that. And so one day we walked there, and then we turn around and come back. And then that first day I ran upstairs. I got my suit on. I'm jumping in the pool, and then David did too. And it was like the best idea and decision because it's so refreshing to, even though it was cold out that morning, it was like in the 60s.
It was like 67, 68.
Yeah.
I think by the time we got back, it was a little warmer.
Yeah.
69, but it wasn't 70 yet.
No. But still, then that continued our exercise journey, and then we like walked.
Exercise journey. It's a journey that doesn't go very far because we're just walking back and forth in the pool.
But still, it's still exercise. So that was fun. And then the next day, on the path, David had gone the opposite direction. I had not. So like, let's just do that. So then we go down the path. Then you have to actually cross the street. The path continues. When the path ends, then you're, as we posted earlier today, you're at a horse farm, and there's like a beautiful picket fence lining the thing. And we did see horses that day, although they were kind of still in the stable. They weren't like.
But they were outside. You're right.
Yeah.
But they were.
Maybe should I bring a carrot in my pocket just in case they're like out in the field, then I can be like,
I don't
here's
know.
a carrot.
Sometimes there's an old guy out there. He may not want you to feed
That's
him the
true.
horses.
Get off my lawn.
And sometimes there's a dog running around in the field
Yes.
too.
Living its best life. So so every day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Well, but we right. We walked together Wednesday,
Yes.
Thursday, Friday, and today.
Mm-hmm.
But to be clear, we did stuff every day.
We did.
The whole week.
Yes.
I
So we
just
feel
want
good
all
about
the
that.
credit
I do,
that I
yeah.
can get because
Exactly. So yeah, that was just super fun just to be able to do that and then get that going again. So yay us!
And I've made this wisecrack before, but we were talking. I was talking to one of my brothers yesterday, and he did not have a chance to come when we had people over a couple of weeks ago. So he was asking, so how's the pool? And I said, the pool's great, but it's sort of like we live in a retirement home because we go out there and walk in the pool for exercise. It's like when you're young, you're like, oh, we have a pool, we're gonna party, we're gonna have a bar, we're gonna have drinks. When you're old, you're like, oh, this is great because I can walk in the pool
And my knees don't hurt.
It's good for my knees.
Yeah.
But it is true, and given that we would walk like a couple of miles on the sidewalk and path and everything, come back in, and then spend another 15-20 minutes to half an hour walking. It's exercise. It's
It is.
just funny because
And stretching in there too.
That's true. That's true because you're more buoyant. So how where you like lift your leg up to stretch your knee, so you pull from behind. Lift your foot up.
It's way easier in the pool.
Because you're buoyant, so it's easier to get when you're old, and it's hard to get your hard to reach your ankle from behind when you're lifting your foot. it's easier. But it is true. We're basically living in a retirement home, except we're not retired. That's
Exactly.
See, we
I
did
want
it
the
all
retirement
wrong.
part.
Right, we did it all wrong. We got the retirement home. We don't have the retirement.
Yeah.
That backfired.
That's a shame.
That's a shame.
So that's that, and then as you guys know, yesterday we had our memorial and celebration of life for our brother-in-law Tom, which was amazing. I mean, it was just like such a great day. Not obviously the reason for it, but everyone getting together, and he actually wrote his own memorial, which his son read at the restaurant we went to afterwards, which was hilarious.
But it was password protected on his computer, so
Yes.
they had to hack into it basically to open it up.
Which they did finally, and then they were able to print it out, so that was kind of funny. But yeah, it was just nice to just it's always sad when somebody passes away in your family, but it was just, he had such a great life and was just such a fun person. And hearing stories from everybody, his brother telling a story of when they were little and went to Lincoln Park Zoo. He actually was thin enough to walk through the gate and went into the elephant part.
Well, right, like through the bars,
Through the bars
to
go to the elephant exhibit.
Right.
He did not go all the way in, and they were able to coax him back. But I had never heard that story, so I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
So that was most of our day yesterday was doing that and being with family, and then we got back and we still walked and did our pool jazzercise.
Jazzercise. That would be more vigorous than walking.
All right,
in
I'm
the
going to
pool.
start putting a routine together.
Well, we
for us.
can't since it's an outdoor pool. We can't disturb the neighbors.
Yeah, we'll have music on really tiny, and then I'll make a dance routine for us.
Really tiny. I gotta move this because I am so OCD. I feel like we're not centered. Sorry.
That's okay.
That's we spend most of the time spent on putting videos together is trying to line up the camera lens properly.
And the funny thing is, it's like we've done this so many times, but it's still, we're obviously doing it in different locations in different parts of our house.
We obviously have no idea what we're doing. It's really the bottom line.
We're getting it up, so I think that's good enough.
Well, we are going to have some technical changes coming, but we'll leave that we'll explain that later.
Yes.
Courtesy of our tech consultant, Mark.
Yeah. Our son is just like, he was telling us so much about computer products today. I'm like, do you work there and we don't know about it?
The funny thing, what I thought was funny about it was, so we use an iPhone, we use an iPad. I have a MacBook that I use to actually post videos, because we've talked/complained about before that if you record something that's more than 15 minutes, in order to post it to Instagram, you have to do it from a computer. You can't do it from a phone or a tablet. So we have all these Mac products, and we complain about them, but sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But anyway, so Mark is an avowed PC user. He's not. He's got a non-iPhone phone.
The only one in family.
Actually, that's true.
Yeah.
Although for a bit, but Emma doesn't use Macs in her, like, for her personal computer and stuff like that. And neither does Claire.
Yeah.
So really, I'm the only one who has a Mac computer.
That's true.
Because you use yours for work.
Yeah.
And I use a PC for work. Anyway, this is way too much boring detail. But so we were talking about we were talking about the fact that certain apps like iMovie and the audio recording app we use, which is called Audacity, are much simpler. The versions of those apps are much simpler on the iPhone or the iPad versus on a Mac. I don't know what they're like on a PC, but on a well, I don't know. Can you get iMovie for a PC? Who knows? Whatever. But Audacity, you can. When you use it on the computer, it's way more complicated. I'm sure it's great, but I would not have a clue. Well, I like the nice, simple versions that are on the iOS devices. So all of a sudden, Mark was explaining to us that the new Macs have a different chip, and the apps that you can download for the new Mac are like, iMovie may come on it, because that's an Apple thing, but Audacity, all that will function much more like the iPad version or the iPhone version, and he had this whole elaborate thing going on.
Knew all the details, specifications,
making recommendations.
Yeah.
So we've actually, I'm not going to go into it yet because we don't know whether or not it's going to work.
Right.
We don't know whether we'll be able to function, but we bought some new equipment, which we'll get this week, and maybe next Saturday we'll be able to say, well, Chris, we won't know because we may use it, and then if it doesn't work out, we won't be able to say that it worked. But in any event, we got some new equipment coming. So in the end of the day, we've probably spent as much on putting together this thing than. It's like buying a car with all the different microphones and this, that, and the other thing. Little mixer for the microphones.
But it is kind of nice to have like an IT consultant who's living with us.
Well, now we're gonna have to give them credit. We'll have to, like when you'd listen to Car Talk in the old days, and they had all the credits at the end. We'll have to, we'll have to come up with some.
Yeah, have like a little.
Nobody gets the Car Talk reference. That's too bad. That was a lot of fun.
It was, and it hasn't been on well, do they do reruns of it maybe?
Well, they might, but so they stopped doing the show at one point, and then one of the brothers passed away.
Yeah.
So,
if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a radio show on NPR called Car Talk. Two brothers from Boston.
Right, and they were like MIT educated.
Yeah, and super funny, super awesome accents, and people would call in this show with any problem with their car, and they would
try
describe,
to diagnose it,
noises the car was making, what make or model was it, and things like, and they could pretty much tell you just from the description what was wrong with it, or something that was wrong with that specific model and car, that you could get it fixed and stuff like that.
And they were kind of funny.
And they were very funny.
They were really into, sustainability. So if they were making recommendations, they would always recommend, like with SUVs and things like that, what are the ones that are more fuel efficient, and they liked hybrid cars and all that. So they were also sort of, they were environmentally conscious, but they knew cars inside.
But it was
and
also
they're
funny
very funny
because people would call in with, some of them would be the most ridiculous problems, and it would make them laugh because it's like, wait, you've been driving your car doing this, and you haven't taken care of it yet. And that was a big thing. A lot of people were living with problems with their car, but they didn't have it. They never took it, so they would call them first to be like, "What should I do?"
And we would always listen to Car Talk when we were doing marathon training. It would be on the drive to downtown Chicago or train. It would be like morning edition, or well, I guess they would call it weekend edition on the weekend. And then on the drive back, it would be we wouldn't necessarily catch a whole episode of Car Talk. We might just be like half of it, and then wait, don't tell me. Would come on after that on our local NPR.
So it was always something to look
We didn't
forward
do
to.
like the whole Prairie Home Companion thing. We weren't like those people who just listen to NPR all day long.
Yeah.
Like my parents used to do.
Yeah, and even now I've turned it on the radio, like when I had to drive into the city or something like that. But then sometimes the content is so not boring, but I'm like, I'll fall asleep if I have to listen to music.
Right. Well, and they do have during the day. They do have like programming that might be about foreign affairs, might be about science, might be. I was driving out to Rockford, Illinois, which is very far from where. It's a little more. We're closer to it now, but it was far from where we used to live. And I started out listening to our NPR station. As I got closer, I was picking up one from like Beloit, Wisconsin, or something like that. I don't know. It wasn't Chicago, and then it was. It's a lot of the same stuff, but then they have their own individual shows. And I learned all about carpenter bees driving back from court one day. They don't have stingers, apparently.
Okay, I know nothing about carpenter bees.
They can't sting you. They don't have stingers. But anyway, because they're big, and sometimes it was a gardening show. And people were talking about these big bees in their garden, and they were like, "Don't worry about it. They can't sting you."
That just reminded me that update too. I'm not going to do my garden this summer because this little planter thing that came with the house is kind of a mess, and so and because the weeks kept on going by and everything, it just wasn't. I just have time to do it and get it ready, so I'm going to spend time getting ready so next summer, then I'll be ready to go, like Mother's Day when we usually get plants and stuff like that. So just thought I'd share.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, we're not going to have any tomatoes or peppers this year.
I can't speak apparently. I'm the only one who eats tomatoes.
I actually, you're going to be shocked. I ate half of a tomato that was in there. However,
I am shocked.
I put it in the breakfast casserole that I made, but since it was just half of it, I scooped out all the seeds because that's the part I hate, and then cut it up in really tiny pieces. Then I was fine putting it in the casserole because you can't really taste it. Salsa, I love though. Ketchup,
well,
I
and
love.
we did you made salsa with tomatoes from the garden, so it is not true.
While. It's been a while since I've told this story, but and maybe I don't know if I even have on here. Probably, but when David and I first started dating, I told him that I hated chunks of tomatoes in sauce, in pasta sauce. And the very first meal that he made for me was spaghetti, and it was pasta. And he realized that I didn't like it, and then he got a blender so he could blend it up.
That's right. I did not have a blender.
Just so nice. 27 years ago.
Yeah, more or less. Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's fine with me. I didn't mind it that way.
Although as I've gotten older, I've gotten less picky eating, so at least that's helped a little bit. And I do not mind some chunks of tomatoes in sauce. I don't have to zhuzh it every time we get it.
I'm picky in that I don't like bad food. I mean, there's a lot of different things I'll eat. But,
okay, and that's the other thing we were talking about is just some. We normally eat healthy stuff, but just kind of like think of other things we can make for dinner that's easy, because we have our middle and youngest at our home, both vegans, and then me and David. So it's just basically us eating. So I don't have to make a big
Well,
meal.
they eat. They just make their own
Yeah, they
stuff.
just make their own food. One thing is still a problem is I'm making food like for a family, kind of thing, and I'm like, there's just 2 of us, kind of thing. So getting the size so we don't have a ton of leftovers or leftovers that we throw out at the end of the week. So maybe at some point we will through our week take a little video of what we're making and stuff like that, and we can pepper that in.
Well, and one problem, I mean, a lot of times, if there's leftovers, we will eat them.
Yes.
Like when we do cook out, we tend to make more burgers than we need, or brats or whatever, but we'll eat them then through the week.
Yeah.
But the other problem with it is that it's not just making too much, is that sometimes it's really easy to err on the side of doing things that are prepared,
Yes.
So, that's, I mean, not that I'm complaining, but I mean, we'll do that sometimes. And so,
Right.
because that kind of stuff, you can always kind of, quantify.
That's true.
And just
but then we came with some good ideas today, which we'll probably implement. And then because it's not like I don't have a commute, so it's not like coming home and after a long commute and then making dinner. We have plenty of time for that.
I have to commute from my office to the kitchen.
Exactly. It's exhausting.
Clean out the litter box.
Get our baby's food.
Oh, the litter box is not in the kitchen. I want to point that out. Somehow that didn't.
Yeah.
That didn't make a whole lot of sense.
But our cats are really regimented on when they get their wet food, because they have dry food out all day, and then it's once 6:15, 6:30 comes around, Gordy's crying.
Walks into the kitchen.
Yeah, and it's just like, what's happening?
It makes it
Where's my
very
food?
loud cry.
Yeah. So anyway, so that is just a little update of how our week has been going. This week will be good weather, it looks like. No rain, and actually feels like summer, so we're excited about that. And then we'll just update you throughout the week and fill you in on what we're doing. So have a good rest of the weekend, and we will talk to you later. Bye.